Hey, so it's Cliff here again. Today I'm shooting a bit longer format video. I'm going to do something a little bit different and talk about my 22-week journey. So not just my daily note, but what's gone on overall with the whole journey. I've hit bits of this as I've done my daily notes, but where are we now and what is the result? So one of the big things I want to talk about is what have I lost in 22 weeks? And then some things you don't hear people talk a lot about, but what is that investment? So what have I invested in losing that? And then what is the cost per pound loss? So what is my investment per pound loss at 22 weeks in? And how has that changed over time? And then the big one is, what am I getting for my investment? So what is that return on investment? And is it worth it to me? So let's get to it and let's talk about where I am at 22 weeks in. So, hey, number one is 22 weeks in, I have lost 63 pounds. So that's a big life change. And we'll talk a little bit about that after we talk about the investment. Let's talk about where I get my Zepbound and how much I pay for it. So I talked to my general practitioner and we went in and with the codes given for Lilly Direct. She was able to do my prescription through Lilly Direct. And for the first 2 months, I had an introductory rate. I'm not sure if they still do that, but I had an introductory rate of $285 plus supplies for my first 2 months. After that, I transitioned to 5 milligrams, which I'm still on. So I did 2.5 milligrams for 2 months, transitioned to 5 milligrams, and I am still on 5 milligrams. Main reason I'm still on 5 milligrams is I think I'm what people would call sensitive. Some people are more or less sensitive, but if I'm still losing weight on 5 milligrams, why would I go up? That's the big question. And in talking with my healthcare professional, she doesn't see any need for me to go up either. So if I stall out or can't move my needle here at some point, then maybe I'll look at going to 7.5 or going up. But right now I'm still on 5 milligrams, and it's a great setup. She has a bot, and that bot reorders because you have to issue a new prescription every month. So she has a bot that it sends me an email the day before, and I can call or email and say, hey, I want to change or whatever. Then it fires that off to Lilly Direct. Within about 4 or 5 hours of that going over to Lilly Direct, I get a text message. I simply go in that text message, I verify my credit card information, and about 2 days later for me, occasionally 3 days later, UPS arrives or FedEx arrives and drops off. So at this point, I'm going to drop in what every YouTuber seems to drop in. And since this is my first YouTube, I'm going to drop it in. Please hit like and subscribe. Now that that's over, let's talk a little bit about what is that investment. So if you look at it, I have been on Zepbound for 22 weeks. That has cost me $2,479.47. That works out to $37.35 a pound. Now, if you look at my first 2 months, I was tracking at about $15 to $17 a pound, but that's because the price of the medicine was lower. And in those first 8 weeks, I lost a good portion of my 63 pounds. So I lost a third of it in those first 2 months. And that's not unusual. So, $37.35 is what I'm paying per pound to lose weight today. I expect that to go up because I'm still losing it, around 2 pounds, probably average of around 2 pounds a week. But at that average and with the cost coming in each month, that number will slowly tick up. And then at some point I'll go on to a maintenance dose. So what am I getting for that? Well, big thing is value of life. So my life is completely different than it was 22 weeks ago. I think a lot of people underestimate the impact of the drug. Number one is it's not a free ride. I work at it every day. As I've lost weight, I've become more active. As I've become more active, I've done better. I'm out walking every day. I'm lifting whenever I can. Those things have really made a difference. Overall, my energy is up. So this is a Sunday morning before I just want to hang out in bed and watch YouTubes in the morning. This morning I spent 2 hours outside before it got hot doing yard work. And I'm going to go out and spend another couple hours outside this evening. And I'm probably going to throw a walk in there of at least, somewhere between 3/4 to a mile to cap off the day. So much more active. My energy's up. I'm feeling much better. Some of the other health benefits I've seen, my blood pressure's down. Now, again, this isn't going to happen for everybody, but for me personally, whether it's the activity being up or the Zepbound, doesn't really matter because the Zepbound's what drove all of it. And my blood pressure's down significantly. So my guess is my next regular checkup here next month with my general practitioner, she and I are going to have a discussion about my blood pressure medicines and whether I still need to take them or how we wean off and see how I'm doing as I wean off of them, because my blood pressure is in really good space right now. Couple other things that have really made a big, huge change in my life. I am sleeping so much better. I do know that they are prescribing Zepbound in some cases for sleep apnea. I don't know. I never got tested for sleep apnea. I know I snore, according to my better half. She said I snore a lot. I don't snore as much anymore, nor as deeply, and I am sleeping so much better. So again, whether it's the Zepbound, whether it's the activity, probably a combination of those things, but without the Zepbound, I wouldn't be there. Another thing is after I had COVID a couple of years ago, I had tinnitus really bad, and I mean, at times it was very loud in my ears. About 2 months into the taking Zepbound, I happened to realize that it's quiet. It just went away. Now, occasionally it'll come back for little things. This week I had to go over the mountain a couple times. So it's, up, close to 2,000 feet back down to run over to work in the morning on the other side of the mountain. When I make those jaunts and have an elevation change, it may pop in for a little bit. I may be doing something else, will pop in for a little bit. But overall, my tinnitus is like right now, it's silent. And it's amazing because you don't understand unless you've had it what an annoyance that is in the back of your head all the time when you just hear that constant buzz in your ear. So another thing that I'm chalking this up to Zepbound, probably some of the anti-inflammatory properties of Zepbound, and it's a huge life-changing thing. I chewed my nails my entire life. I tried to quit. I would quit for a while. I put stuff on my nails so I wouldn't chew my nails, but I was always having to think about and not chew my nails. I haven't thought about chewing my nails in 21 weeks. All of a sudden it's like, what's going on? And I realized my nails were long and they were getting hooked on things, and I had to trim them. I have never in my life before being on Zepbound had to trim my nails. So, hey, I have fingernails now. It's awesome. I can do all those things that you don't realize you can't do when you don't have fingernails. So now I have fingernails. So overall, to me, it's been a great investment. I'm going to keep on it. I'm down 63 pounds. I don't know exactly. I don't have a firm target. I keep working down, and over the next few months, as I keep working down, we'll see where I want to level off at. My guess is I'm probably going to try to lose about 40 pounds more. That'll put me at a level of when I back in when I graduated from OCS, coming out of in the Navy. That'll be the weight I was then. So if I can get back to that weight and keep up my physical activity, I'm going to be very happy. So, hey, I will do my daily videos. So if you aren't watching my daily videos, Cliff's Daily Notes, again, like and subscribe, jump in, check out my daily videos where I give daily updates. I'm feeling good, and I'm going to stay on Zepbound. So, hey, see you over on my next daily note.